love being able to make functional objects and have a mug be an art piece but also a functional object, or a bowl be used as a bowl but maybe as something to go under a plant. My name is Jasmine. I am a painter and potter. I guess I'd say multidisciplinary artist based in Hamilton, and I run Casa Studio with my partner.
My name is Colin, and I also am part of Casa Studio.
I actually was taking ceramics courses just for fun, kind of a side project away from my painting practice. Painting feels so immediate. I can see the color that I'm using, I mix the color and apply it to the canvas. Pottery is different, it really slows you down. There's so many steps, and each step you don't know what's gonna happen. Things will crack or the color will be different. It's a lot of pivoting and just embracing the clay wants to do what it wants to do. That was just like again, the experimentation of tinting clay. My practice is quite tactile, so it was natural for me to just work with my hands in clay, and it felt like it made sense. Just do our simple checkered pattern. Working with clay is literally, earth, it's mud. So it just felt like a natural progression, just thinking about sustainability and wanting to be more conscious of the materials that we use in our practice.
My background is not in art. I do have a history in the Hamilton punk scene, so I was a musician a very long time ago as a teenager. And I think that I've only recently realized that's where some of my creative inspiration was fostered. Work at the grocery store for 22 years. You don't exactly know what careful and gentle even means. You only know what completing tasks mean. One of the things that excited me was to prove that you could be many things. I lived in retail for 22 years where I worked 100 hours a week, and it was my entire existence for almost my entire life. Proving that I can be something else and that I was a little bit more dynamic than that, although that job is hard and it takes a lot, was very, very important to me in the last couple of years, and the solo show was very reaffirming for me to prove that you can be many things. Pottery will teach you a lot about yourself, in particular patience. And when you're managing employees, you're not necessarily ever given the opportunity to be in the moment. And I think that's something that pottery really gave me an appreciation for and honestly taught me.
And then it's literally just like collaging.
The fact that we are able to reprocess the clay through any failures or opportunities or learnings, you could just keep going, you just have to re-wedge it and reuse it, and honestly it's one of the greatest art forms for that exact purpose. There's very little waste until you're happy with your piece and it hits the kiln. Especially like pieces that don't work out, we're able to reclaim them and keep them in our own home, so we really try to reduce waste as much as possible. We've experimented with mosaics as well, with pieces that don't work out, smashing them and then kind of making some experiments again. So I like that you could kind of see the roughness of the surface, and then also half of it is glazed and half is left unglazed, so it's like a contrast of textures that I thought was really lovely. I just love hand building. I've always loved working with my hands, so it's something that came naturally to me. The technique of using inlay, slab inlay, which I like to call clay collaging. This compresses the clay bodies and brings them together. I get attached to tools. And then Colin will wheel throw and we'll kind of work those pieces together. For example, like a soap dispenser, the body is wheel thrown and then I hand build the top spout. The inspiration for the vessels and items themselves comes sometimes out of necessity. For instance, soap dispenser started because we wanted a soap dispenser for our own kitchen. We were happy with what we had made together, and that is now our #1 selling item, and one of the items that I think that we're well known for. I love it. It's so convenient. I can, refill, less plastic, just refill these objects, and they're beautiful. All the scraps we put together created these mugs, and all of them have a different finish, so no two are alike. And I love like the hints of color too are fun. Because when you're making them, you don't always see it, but then after it's been fired, the color becomes more vibrant. This will be our first time working together in the same space, in the sense of like he's throwing right here and I hand build right here. We hand build together a lot, but this is a different vibe up here. We do a complete division of tasks essentially, and that helps us in terms of our relationship and our collective, but there's a lot to do. So when those are doing it on their own and setting up markets on their own and firing the kiln on their own, it's honestly incredible what people are able to do.
We worked with a Toronto screen printing small company, and we decided to put the shirts on the Format website as our first item available. Online is our most popular and accessible space to purchase our work. We also sell in a bunch of Hamilton local shops that sell Hamilton artists products as well. Having Format just to hold all our photos is helpful for us to remind us, what we did 2 years ago to now, but then also in terms of sharing it with clients. It's an easy, here's the link, you can see what we do, you can see how we can personalize things, so it is great just to have an online portfolio.
When you see it on Instagram, obviously it's happening at 7 trillion miles per hour, but in reality it's not the case.
I love having a home studio.
It's having every element in your house, and just the amount of process work that goes into ceramics there's always something to do.
I think we really jumped head first. Clay will humble you, but it's been such a beautiful journey and I'm very grateful for it.